Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for War of the Realms issue 5. And this was a pretty good issue because it's kind of setting up the final conflict of Thor and Malekith and kind of getting all of our pieces down into place. Now, it's really set up between mostly things talking about earlier and then kind of now. So let's get into the earlier portions first. We start going through and getting kind of a rundown of what's been going on throughout the war. We see Wakanda dealing with the forces of heaven, with like Angela and Sif and the elite guard of Wakanda and Black Panther and Shuri dealing with them and figuring out what to do, while Frank is leading the Light Elves as they're taking on the Angels. We also see in South America that Ghost Rider, Strange, Balder, and Spider-Man are dealing with the Enchantress, and mainly Ghost Rider dealing with the Enchantress. So she's at first not taking him very seriously, and then he starts like busting out some moves and like, alright, good for you. We also see in Australia that Ulick is like, oh, this is what I thought of when I thought of Lady Thor, seeing She-Hulk kind of kitted out with like a hammer and all that. And she's like, I ain't having any of that. While Luke Cage, Danny Rand, and Deadpool are like messing around with the other forces, and Daredevil's there as well. And of course, Deadpool's talking about making Down Under thunder jokes and all that. And we see that throughout the rest of this going on, that Thor's also been going around the world with his storms and all that, trying to find Malekith. We also see that Brew, the tech expert that has been shown up in the Avengers comics, has cracked the code and gotten communications back up, and he's being protected by Gorilla Man as they're infiltrating Roxxon, and they're having trouble because they got the Berserkers following them. But of course, Kazar and the Veneer come to help out, while also Roz and Jane take on Dario Augur because Jane's got Spear Gungnir since she's an All-Mother now. So I was like, alright, that's pretty sweet. We also get to see what's going on in New York as Iron Man and his War Machine dwarves are popping up to help take on the Frost Giants and give support to the Fantastic Four as they're battling like Laufey. So it's like, yeah, alright. We see that in London, how we've got Captain Britain and Captain America fighting and pushing them off the Thames, into the Thames River and getting them to France. And Captain America's like, hey, yeah, we'll fight them there too. While Volstagg is piloting the destroyer and taking on Curse. We see that Captain Marvel and the rest of the forces are battling Queen Cinder in kind of like the giant expanse of Eurasia. And that Wolverine has kind of unofficially been brought into the Warriors 3, so that was a pretty kind of cool thing. Then we get towards the end of what's going on earlier, and we see that Malekith has captured Freya and Odin and is at Stonehenge and pretty much issued a challenge to Thor that he is the only one that can come through the magical barrier, and they're going to end it between him and Thor, and if anybody else does, that he will kill Odin and Freya, and Odin's trying to tell him to not do anything while he stabs Odin with the Null Blades. Like, okay, shit. So this then links up to the parts that we've been seeing in the now, where we find out that the World Tree of Yggdrasil, its seed has sprouted from the sun, and that Thor and Daredevil were talking about it, and that he wanted Daredevil to throw Yarnborn at him and keep him pinned to the tree and ignore his screams. We also see in Asgard that Jane is talking with Heimdall to figure out what to do, and Heimdall's trying to caution her to use restraint because she's just gotten her health back and everything, but because of the sacrifice of Brunhilde, she wants to do something better, and as we had seen, the Warhammer was calling up, and it wasn't actually calling out to Volstagg, but Volstagg could hear it, and at the end of the issue, we see that Jane picks up the remnant pieces of War Thor's hammer and starts to transform, even though it's broken. So we're going to have two Thors running around doing this, but we don't know what kind of state that Jane will be in as War Thor, because we saw that Volstag's War Thor was highly unpredictable and more bloodthirsty and was very single-minded in his attempts to do his mission and take out the forces of Muspelheim for what they did to his children. Now we also have to see what Thor is going to be doing as well, because we see at the end that he is trying to figure out what's going on, and we get the whole spiel of how Odin had hung himself from Yggdrasil for 9 days, 9 nights, and that he died and in the end became wise and was able to learn of the runes, but Thor does not have that amount of time, so he is stuck on this tree, burning and everything, trying to figure out what to do. So it'll be interesting to see how this occurs, like what happens if Mjolnir were come back into effect, or what's going to be going on. I know that it's going to be a double team effort between Thor Odinson and Jane Thor, and that it's going to be really interesting to see how that dynamic occurs, because we know that Thor will probably be in his right headspace, but War Thor Jane is going to be the one wild card, and I don't think Malekith is going to really kind of expect that. He's going to be like, I was waiting for one Thor, because, yeah, he's got his whole army there, but 2 Thors and an unpredictable War Thor, that could be kind of exciting. So we'll have to see how this kind of shapes out, and I'm really excited to see how this conclusion shapes up. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.